Hey, today's video is talking about proportional relationships. The first thing we probably should establish is what is a proportional relationship. So a proportional relationship is just a relationship in which the value increases by the same amount, and the most important part is it must pass through 0, 0. So if I'm looking at a graph, it needs to pass through 0, 0. If I'm looking at a table, it needs to be able to go through the points 0, 0. So that's going to be our most important indicator as far as what's a proportional relationship. All right, time to get down to the nitty gritty and figure out if these are proportional relationships. So what I want to look at is how do I go from 1 to 2 so I can multiply by 2. Sorry, it's a sloppy 2. 2 times 2 gives me 4, 3 times 2 gives me 6, 4 times 2 gives me 8. So I'm multiplying by 2. If I went back one more, 0. 0 times 2 would give me 0, so that's going to pass through 0, 0. So this is proportional. Okay? Looking at B, and we have 1 to 2. So 1 times 2 takes me to 2, but 2 times 2 does not take me to 3. Instead, I can't really multiply 2 by anything. Well, I guess it would be 1.5. So 1.5 there. And then 3 is going to get into a different number. Regardless, this is not happening by the same number. Okay? So therefore, it is not proportional. Okay? One thing you may look at is here to here to here. These are all adding 1, right? So you're like, well, this is adding 1, this is adding 1, and this is adding 1, so it has to be proportional. But realistically, when we're looking for proportional, we're looking at the middle right here, and that middle is what we're multiplying by in order to get that. All right, looking at more examples. So now we have some graphs here. We're going to try to identify if they are proportional. Remember, we talked about a proportional relationship is increasing by the same amount. Here we see it's decreasing, and then it's increasing, but then it's kind of flattening out, so it's not increasing by the exact same amount. It also does not pass through 0, 0, so this is not proportional. Okay? Looking at B, it now is increasing by the same amount. It has a steady increase. However, it's not intersecting at 0, 0, so therefore it is not proportional. Okay? So neither of these graphs are starting at 0, 0. One is increasing at a constant rate. The other one is not increasing at a constant rate. All right, let's look at some more examples. We have some more graphs, and if you look at this line is decreasing. Again, it does not pass through 0, 0, so in order for it to be a proportional relationship, it has to increase and pass through 0, 0, so therefore it is not proportional. Okay? All right, looking at D. Look at that. It crosses at 0, 0. However, you notice my line goes like this, then it goes like this, and then it's getting more straight up and down. So it's not increasing by the exact same amount. Okay, so in order for it to be a proportional relationship, it has to be increasing by the same amount. All right, now we're going back to some more tables. Let's figure out which one is proportional or which ones. We don't know. Okay, so looking at A, if I have 1 times 3, that brings me to 3. 5 times 3 brings me to 15. 7 times 3 brings me to 21. Therefore, it is proportional. Okay? Moving on to B. 10 times 3.5 brings me to 10.5. 4 times 3.5 brings me to 14. 5 times 3.5 brings me to 17 and a half. And again, I'm multiplying by the same number, so therefore it is proportional. Looking at C, 3 times what takes me to 5? I don't think anything really nice. And 4 times 4 times what takes me to 7? Nothing very nice. 5 times what takes me to 9? Nothing very nice. It'd be more of a decimal, so it's not quite, not going to be quite 2. So all of these are like 1 less than 2 by multiplying it by 2. If I look here, I have this increases by 1, this increases by 1, this increases by 2, and this increases by 2. But if I continued my table, so I'd have 2 would be equal to 3. Then if I had 1 would be equal to 1. And then if I went to 0 would be equal to -1. So in this case, because it goes through 0, -1, it would turn out to be not proportional. Okay, if I went back into the other ones where I had 0 here, 0 times 3 would give me 0. So that would go through 0, 0. Same thing here, 0 times 3.5 would give me 0. All right, I have a couple more graphs for us. Looking at A, it crosses through 0, 0. It looks like a pretty straight line. Obviously, if I were able to put down a straight edge, I think it would go through. So this is proportional. Okay. Looking at B, it does pass through 0, 0. However, our line goes more as a curve, not at a straight constant, so therefore it is not proportional. Oh, I can't spell. And we finally made it to the end. All right, so y equals 3x. So the last thing I'm going to look at is an equation. When I'm given an equation like this, I want to make an XY chart so that when I put in my values, so obviously 0 is probably an important one that I want to put in because it has to pass through 0, 0. And then I'm just going to go 0, 1, 2, 3. So creating 3 points is very helpful. All right, so now when I'm doing this, I have 3 as my x value. So 3 times 0 is going to give me 0. So that goes there. Then I have 3 times my next x value, which is 1, which is 3. Then I have my third x value, which is 3 times 2, which is 6. Okay? So as we can see, we are increasing by a constant. So 1 times 3, 2 times 3. So we're increasing by that same amount each time. We are passing through 0, 0, so therefore it is proportional. Okay? Now when I move on to the next question, again, I'm going to make my XY chart. And I'm going to use the numbers 0, 1, and 2 again. Okay? Just keeping it consistent. Easiest math for me. Okay, so 3 times 0 plus 5. So 3 times 0 would give me 0 plus 5 is 5. And I feel like I could almost just stop right here because it goes through 0, 5, which is not 0, 0. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to make sure to work this out the rest of the way so that you can see how it works. And then we have 3 times 2, or 3 groups of 2 plus 5, so 6 plus 5, which is 11. Okay? So you kind of get the idea. 1 times 8 would bring me to 8, but then 2 times 8 brings me to 11. That doesn't work. It would have to be 16. So in this case, it is not proportional. Okay? And the other big indicator is it goes through 0, 5.
Could you try again?
All right. If you have any questions, please feel free to go back and watch the video.